Inspired by sound.
Hello again. How's it all going? I've been watching a lot of videos lately, I think as a lot of us do, but I've been watching videos on timing, unusual timing, and improvisation. And I thought, well, why not combine the two in a video? I love improvising. As a sort of pseudo-jazz player, I think a lot of us do that. I also like unusual timing because it's outside of the norm, and outside of the norm can be quite interesting for a lot of things. So I have a track here. This track is in 7/4/4/4. Listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I thought I would combine the two together in one video and bring you something about improvisation. I've got 3 tracks up here. I've got a synth line, a flugelhorn, and a piano. And to show you what it's like to improvise over something that's a little bit out of the way, but fun to play as well. So if I start by muting the keys track and playing this piano, which is the Ravenscroft 275, are you surprised? No, not really, didn't think so. Now, I've got a synth and a brass, as I say, so I need to put the keys back for those. So here is the synth, which is actually a lot of fun. And under that is my lovely brass line, which I like a lot. Flugelhorn from Session Horns Pro. So, between all the 3 things, you can do a lot of fun, and have a lot of fun rather, but do a lot of things is what I meant to say. So, I don't know, improvising, and it's, at the best of times can be hard, but when you've got to improvise over a track like that, which is out of the realms of normality, it's even harder. And the worst part, or the most unusual part, if you will, is the metronome to get this to record the way that I wanted it, I actually had to set the metronome to 5/4. So the track is in 7/8, then 4/4, if you will, and then 5/4 metronome. So listen to the metronome, and it comes back around at really, really weird points, and it's a complete mess with your head. Check this out. So yeah, that was very interesting to record, because if you listening to this with the metronome and trying to remember my place, here's the keys part soloed with just the metronome playing, and you'll see why it was hard. So yeah, you get it now. That was a trip. I'm going to tell you it was a trip. But let's discuss improvisation, because it's one of the areas that I love the most. I love jamming with people, and not always just going out to rehearse, because jamming allows you to be free and to be inspired by those around you, and you're not just playing covers or, setting up for a gig that's full of lovely originals, yes, but sometimes bands don't get to rip in the gigs, and that's fine. You need to have some discipline in your life. Let me make no mistake about that. But if you get a chance to go and have a jam with people and have a fun improvisation day, take it and enjoy. So why this track in particular and not something normal? Well, because I like a challenge, and I thought you guys might like something a little different. There's lots of videos online about improvisation, but have you ever done improvisation over something like this? Well, if you haven't, the multi-track is linked in the description. It's just 4 tracks, I think, bass, keys, and 2 drum parts, because there's percussion as well. And for the curious, I'm using Scarby MM bass, I believe. It will certainly be all linked in the description anyway, as I always do. I'm using Keyscape Rhodes, and I'm using Superior Drummer, one of the Jabo kits, and I think Cuban percussion or something. If I'm wrong, then it will be correct in the description. So look down in the description box for what I'm using. And then the 3 tracks of improvisation material up here, which will not be in the multi-track. So you can just extract the multi-track, put it in your DAW of choice, Reaper, Logic, Cubase, whatever you use, and set it to loop mode and play around it all day. And give yourself a hard time. And if you're a drummer, mute the drums and play around it without a click or without anything going on, and see what you can pull off. A lot of fun. So I did initially play the piano with the keys muted, but if I have the keys playing, it allows me to be more free on piano. And so improvisation, as my dad once told me, is not a race. It doesn't mean you do all of your tricks in the first couple of bars of playing. You got to chill out and let the story build. There's no point starting off with, because then you've got nothing left to give at the end of the day. Start like you're telling a once upon a time story that has a happily ever after. So in the case of this track, I'd be playing something like this in the beginning. Or if you are an idiot like me and you play with the metronome, so let's not do that. So as you hear, I built it up there. And the same goes with any other line too. And if you have a track that you've written or that you find it's a loop or something, or even if it's not a loop, if it's an instrumental and you can play over it and there's room to do so, take it and run with it. And the other thing, and the reason I've got 3 tracks here, is to demonstrate the different ways that you would play different instruments, because you don't play a piano line like you play a synth line. For one thing, my synth is monophonic. You can get polyphonic synthesizers, of course, and my brass is also monophonic, and as is right, because it's one mouth on it. You can't play 2 notes on that system. So I've got 2 monophonics and 1 polyphonic track in the form of a piano, and you play them all differently. And also, I didn't show you that there's a lot of articulations and expressions in the horn patch, which I will now show you. So I go down 2 octaves here. And bottom C on the keyboard is the normal sound you're hearing. C sharp, slightly vibrato, D, it's fun, E flat, bit of a scoop, E, more scoopy, F, like tonguing, much fun, F sharp, very short staccato. G. It's like a 5th or a 4th. A flat. Is that where it stops? Let me see. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 articulations. So normally I leave it on C. However, sometimes it's fun to play on the D. And the other thing is if you hold the pitch bend below the octave, the further you hold it down, the faster it goes down. So this is normal, slightly lower. It slides down. If I move my finger down, it's faster. And at the very bottom, same for going up. So much fun to play. So again, you've got to try and make it sound real. Now, I'm not necessarily a great brass player, but I do enjoy playing this thing because it's fun. So, practice makes perfect. I need to listen to lots of brass players. And with a synth, because it's a synthesizer, say that when you're drunk, it's less, well, I don't know about real, but it means you don't have to play in quite the same way as you would if it wasn't a synth, if that makes sense. I'm not making any sense, of course. But I mean, it's a fake instrument, so there's no real sort of way to play it. Whatever you do is okay. And with a sound like this, where I do have all sorts of fun controls and things, being complete control, I can modify things on the fly. And I can do that with other instruments too. But you wouldn't change your brass sound so much that it turns into a different instrument. With a synth, you can do that and get away with it. So, yeah. Like the attack of the synth. So it comes in all slow. Or very quick. So again, all sorts of different fun things. And things like that you can do on the fly when you're playing a synth. I've got to retune it now. So now I have octaves. So I can play with all these on the fly with a synth, and it's okay to do that. I wouldn't do it with a piano or a brass patch for that reason. So if I was to do this live, all kinds of things might happen like this. And if you mess it up too much, just reload the sound. Just like that. So yeah, you can do that sort of thing for ages with a synth because a synth is fun. So those are just some of the things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Simple, keep it short and sweet today. I will link the multi-track in the description as I said before. So thanks for listening, watching. I hope you get something interesting out of that. I'll leave you with a little bit of playing and call it a day. What I'll do is some question and answer between the three things. I don't know what order, but we'll do a bit of Q&A. So Q&A is where you play a phrase, maybe 4 or 8 bars, or in this case, some weird number of beats because of the way the track is built. And then you go off and do it on a different instrument. And in this way, you kind of build up a sort of, you know, when you go around a circle and there's a lot of you and someone says, I went to the shop and I bought such and such. And the next person goes, well, I went to the shop and bought such and such and such and such. So improvisational Q&A can be quite a lot of fun, and I'll show you some of that now. And then I'll end the video. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and share, and leave me a comment about what you thought about this one. See you again soon.
la la